when you open up your base, this is where you can use the full potential of the traps. Obviously, sometimes you will need to like have tight corridors. So, for example, for like restriction building because of a bedrock or stuff like this, you can have like a couple of small corridors. Uh, it's not there's no problem, but the main idea is to show you even with those tight corridors, just open. So I'm going to explain you all of this because I think this is very important. If the game drops you in the middle of the ocean, you see the line of sight of a traps, and you're like, okay, all right. So what should I do with this? And this is part of the beauty of Meteor Maker because you discover by yourself. And I'm still discovering stuff like with Snail. We have been working on the lasers. Snail has very cool setup with the lasers. If I can during the stream, I will show you one of the setup, like the initial setup that we have been talking with Snail. You can give your map on the in the chat with the lasers. It's meant to counter speedrunners. So I will talk about this. It's just like there's so many things to learn about Meteor Maker, and I'm here to help you to understand those mechanics, and so you will have even more fun building because it's crazy the opportunity you can have when you build in Meteor Maker. You have so much possibility. Okay, so the importance of the layout of your base in your base. So why this is important, the layout of your base? Because basically, when you build your base at the first level, so no matter what is the capacity, we all know that we are very limited, right? The main idea when you build a level one is to give the shape of your base. It doesn't need to be deadly at first. It's just when you build the first level is to see what works and what does not. So you give the shape of your building, so you have to plan in advance. I'm not saying that this is easy, right? It's a very difficult exercise. So don't worry if you fail. It's okay. Meteor Maker is about failing, learning from your mistake, and improving the ideas that you have when you're a builder. And as a raider, you learn from dying from a level. Don't worry if you fail. The main thing when you build is to have fun and create fun setup that you like. All right. So be creative. Try new things. Don't be afraid to try things that are not working. I've tried so many things that didn't work. But in the end, from these ideas that didn't work, I was able to create new stuff that are working right now. Like, for example, I have plenty of bomb splits. And at first, I didn't know how it was working and it was failing all the time. So, yeah, when you create your level at Prestige 1, give the shape of your base and put the main traps, like the main setups, like for example, bomb ejectors, bolt shot that should kill, maybe something to lock a player in a very specific place, and then you have a trap that is going to shoot through the flames. Remember, like for example, the flames, when there's flames in front of a raider, the guard and the traps see through fire, but the raider doesn't see through fire. So, which means the incinerator that is usually used to kill the speedrunners is more, at least in my opinion and from my experience, is more something to lock or to block the visibility of somewhere where you can have sneaky things happening. So this is very, very important to understand the full potential of each traps. So the flames are not here to kill, they are here to lock and blind the raider. To come back to what I was saying, first, prestige, give a shape of your base, build big, don't worry to build big, and put your main traps in it. So obviously the ratio that behavior said is like 40% of your capacity is for the base and 60% of your the rest of your capacity is for the trap. So which means that every time you are getting more and more prestige, or you're gonna remake a part of your base, or you're gonna add different setups, or you're gonna rework one of your setups, it's up to you. The main thing is just don't overkill, because first is a waste of capacity, and you might have players leave your outpost, and we are here as a builder, we are here to watch replays, right? We're here to watch how players are reacting in your outpost. So the more your outpost is fair, the more, obviously you will still have levers, but the more your base is fair, the higher chance you will have to have a player playing until the end. And I gather data, and from there I'll learn and I improve my setup for the next map. It's important to remember that the bigger it is, the harder it is for the raider to analyze in this environment, right? Because if you have a tight map, you you see a hole easily. But when you build big, it's becoming very hard for the raiders to analyze everything. And it's crazy that when you build big, you can put so many obvious traps, but the raiders won't see them. It's crazy. I just like just try it. I can show you something. For example, before showing you the map, I will show you a bolt shot. It's so obvious, but I would say that 80% of the raiders don't see it. It's insane. And it's just like right above their head. But just because there is much more space to analyze, they don't see it because they look in front of them and they look in front of them up, not in their back. And I don't know why. It just like actually, my partner told me something. So people don't look up. I think this is it. People don't look up because there is no danger from the top. I think this is it. I'm not sure anymore. I'm not sure anymore. Anyway, here's the entry, and here's the trap. Nobody sees. Like 80% of the raiders don't see this one. And the thing is, you just go up like this, right? You should see it. But no, raiders are like this. So that's why the more you open, the easier it is for you to hide traps. It's crazy, but trust me, build bigger and you will see that you will be able to have more potential for traps and setups. And I love doing this because it's interesting to see how raiders can be inattentive to the environment.